So what has this offseason been like for you to kind of follow from afar as the coaching change happens and everything?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like being a fan to some degree, because you're not really like involved in the changes and stuff. But with every change, I think starting with Coach Kevin, people were reaching out. I'm not sure how many times I talked to Coach Donatel on the phone, but it was quite a few. I've played for Durante before, and really enjoyed the way he teaches and learning from him, his presence on game day. So it's kind of like a little bit of a fan, and then like get a couple phone calls here and there. But it's very seems like a very positive building and a very something guys want to be a part of.
A huge emphasis has been just from Kevin, the culture and kind of resetting that. What do you think makes a good culture for a locker room?
Man, that's a big question. Yeah. I think there's probably a lot of things, but having figuring out what it is for your culture and sticking to that, and not first bump in the road, kind of reverting to something else, changing everything. So that consistency, we're big on relationships, and knowing the guy next to you, knowing the guy coaching you, knowing about what makes them tick, their families, and buying in, having that kind of ownership of not only like your role in this building and on game day, but how that affects others and how that can help others, how they can help you, and we can collectively have success.
Not that Zimmer didn't change scheme or anything, but this is the first time that you'll have basically a whole new defensive coaching staff in 8 years, or the last 8 years. What do you think this will be like for you as you kind of reset in this new scheme?
Yeah, there'll be an opportunity to learn, new schemes, and then probably some schemes that are similar, or I don't want to say the same, but close, that maybe we do a little differently, or I want, not I, but we want to make look differently than we used to, or you align at a couple yards different. So, or you have a different name. So if I hear a new name that used to mean something else, so you just got to reset, kind of start fresh.
Harrison, what was your impression of Coach O'Connell in his first meeting this morning, and what was his message to the team?
Similar to what I was kind of touching on with the culture, positivity, relationships, ownership, all working together towards the same goal. And I'm fortunate to talk to him on the phone a couple of times, and it was that consistency is still there. He's he knows everything about every coach that's here. He knows everything about every player. So he's he's obviously we're going to be into the schemes, and we're going to get into that, but we're starting with trying to build some trust amongst each other, some accountability, some relationships.
How challenging is it to learn a new scheme when you've kind of known one coaching staff for most of your career?
I will find out, I guess. My first, I guess every stop you're in, like all the way, I don't even know exactly what I ran in high school, but you got to learn something in college. And then I had a new staff in college, learned that. Played for different staff my first 2 years. That was mostly like kind of cover two based. And then, the last 8 years maybe has been different. So just roll with it, just figure it out.
One of the things that Kevin mentioned is that this kind of defensive scheme has been getting popular around the league, the Fangio, Staley kind of thing. Are you able to follow those trends and see what's popular around the league, or are you just kind of in the zone that you don't really get to see what other teams are running that much?
definitely see what other teams are running from watching. It's normally from watching other offenses. So it's easy to, well, not easy, but generally I'm more focused on like seeing the trends on offense going around the league. But while you're doing that, if you're taking your time with it, you can see what some defenses are doing, or this coach used to coach for him and he went over here and now they're doing some of that blended with this. And so, yeah, there's a little taste, but you don't know exactly what the coaching points are and all that. So I've got like a vague idea.
Harrison, what are your thoughts on like the other free agent additions that the Vikings made, especially like a defensive end and linebacker that will obviously impact what you do?
Yeah, that's that's big selfishly for secondary players. If you can get to the quarterback, disrupt the quarterback, make it a little harder on them, it's important because I think we all know it's a quarterback-driven league, so you gotta make them uncomfortable back there. And I think we've done quite a good job of getting guys in here that can do that, or retaining guys that can do that as well, which is kind of the part of free agency that maybe sometimes doesn't get celebrated quite as much, is the retention and re-signing like a guy like Pat P, bringing in Chandon, on the back end.
How significant is it to bring back Patrick and like just his leadership role beyond what he does on the field?
Yeah, he's a significant presence, not only in the field but just around the building, in the meeting rooms, kind of being able to be a little bit of a mentor for guys. Like Sully was saying, he said he watched him all the way back from high school. Like I'm older than Pat by like a year, and I feel like I watched him in high school. So he's been doing it at a high level for a long time.
Harrison, how would you describe the difference in the vibe that you're talking about, that you see now compared to the final days of the?
I mean, it's just day one, so I think the consistency piece of the culture change is very important, and as we get into things, try to keep that mindset of what we want to look like, what we want to be, how we want to interact, and work towards our goals together, like how we want to do that. I'm just personally trying to be mindful of that. You probably gotta break some old habits and just figure out some new things, which is good. It's the only way to get better. So I think we're on the right track on day one, and you can ask me again in a week or two.
What does that relationship building process look like right now? Talk about you had a lot of those phone calls with new hires during the winter, but you guys, is it just talking to each other? Do you have icebreakers and position meetings?
Yeah, it's nothing. It's not rocket science. It's just get up there, talk about yourself, listen to others. Mostly listen to others, and try to actually be engaged with that. Don't just gotta come in here, get the workout, get out of here. I'm trying to get home. Get to know guys that don't play safety and corner. Get to know the offensive line, specialists, those guys, the coaches, not just the head coach. Everybody that makes this place run. Not everyone gets celebrated quite like like head coaches or star players. So get to know everybody that makes this place click, because everyone has important roles here, and it's good to be mindful of that.
Coach O'Connell talked quite a bit in his opening press conference about you and how well you fit in what they want to do schematically. How much of the role that you've played, where you get to do a lot of different things, do you expect will transfer over, or how much of it do you hope transfers into this scheme?
Yeah, I'm not sure, so I don't want to speak for our coaches, but I imagine some degree, if I had to guess. I don't know how much. I've always enjoyed being in a role that can be kind of multiple, can be back and up and doing different things. Like I said, I don't know how much it'll look like that, but I imagine there's a lot of crossover.
Harrison, do you think can Bynum earn the right to get that first crack as the second safety on this defense?
Yeah, I'm not Quessy or Coach O'Connell, so I'm not gonna talk about personnel exactly. But Cam he balled last year whenever he got the chance. So, that's on tape. We know who he is as a guy. He's a smart guy, really productive player, and he's one of those guys you want to have in your room. He's a great presence. He's very energetic. Very good. Just a good guy to be around. So that rubs off on people as well.
Harrison, you said you mentioned you're older than Peterson. Do you do anything differently now in the off seasons that you didn't do when you were younger? Now that you're an old man.
Yeah, I play more golf. I've always been pretty conscious about my weight. I don't fluctuate a ton, and that's on purpose. So, my diet and things like that, it's probably not as clean as some other guys you would think of at the pro level, but I've figured out what works for me, and always try to get a little more limber and just stay light, try something new, get on the basketball court a little bit, just to keep those different muscles, working in the off season. It's not always about just banging out weights, especially in the secondary. So, yeah, I just kind of keep it simple, do what's worked, but also add some stuff in, and just be conscious of honestly mostly my weight when I show up.
You don't follow the Tom Brady diet?
Man, I would like to. I would. I can't. There's no chance.
Wait until you're 40.
If you're still interviewing me, then I'll we'll talk about
Any
it.
idea how long you want to play? If you stay healthy.
Whenever people ask me that, I always say just till they kick me out. But 10 years was a goal for sure, and after that, as long as I'm productive and bringing something to the table and enjoying it, till they kick me out.
What did you think of what Eric Weddle did? Is that in the cards?
That's I don't know if I can handle that. That was really impressive, and he's not surprising by him. He's been able to get to know him a little bit throughout my career, and he's been awesome to talk with. He's another one of those guys he's positive. He's just always full of energy and ready to go. So it was pretty crazy, but it's not really surprising that he was able to do that.
If you're gonna play at that age, that's the way to do it, so you don't have to do these
Yeah,
April
it's just-
workouts, OTAs.
Yeah. I'm sure he was working just as hard though. Like he's a guy that stays in shape.
Anything else?
Thank you.